Nigeria is greatly endowed with numerous tree species, of which majority of them are native while a few are exotic. Report shows that a high percentage of man-made forests in the country is dominated with exotic species. Trees are important to humankind, not only economically, environmentally, and industrially, but also spiritually, historically, and aesthetically. For they sustain human life through direct and indirect gains by providing a wide range of products for survival and prosperity. Its economic benefits, however, are usually measured in monetary terms and may include the value of the production of goods and services from forests and the contribution of the forest sector to the national economy, energy supplies, and international trade. In addition, the economic viability of sustainability of the sector can be assessed by measures such as the profitability of the forest enterprises or the level of investments. Well, to give more insights into economic benefits and importance of these trees in Nigeria, I have joining me live from our Abuja studios. He is the founder and president of Give Free Africa, Mr. Ibrahim Garba Wala. Good afternoon, Mr. Wala. How are you today?
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm good, and I hope you're doing good as well.
Yes, very, very, very well. But I'll do better if you can explain to us why you feel the need to plant trees. What's your take about this? How does this come to you?
Well, in the first place, don't forget the fact that trees are part of nature. And our existence as human beings is actually subject to the convenience or how conducive this atmosphere it is to us. And to achieve that, it's there should be a lot of human effort to make the environment conducive to ourselves. And to do that, it's by also revamping the canopies of trees within the atmosphere, within our environments, to bring down the carbon sink so that it can actually improve the quality of our air we breathe, the sunshade we receive from the sun rays. All those things matters, and this is actually what informed the idea of seeing how we can provide trees across, in fact, the communities, and this time around specifically to the schools. We felt that there should be some sort of concerted effort, and looking at the manpower available rather in a particular place, there is none that can be compared to the schools' platforms. The children are there. They should be carried along. The adults are there as maybe teachers and all that. They are also enough to be galvanized together and see how we can improve the atmosphere. That's the point.
Let's now talk about the economic trees. Now, how economically viable are these trees really?
Yes. The first and foremost, a tree is a tree. Be it ornamental, be it economical, whatever classification you give it, it will provide you the shade and at the same time provide you, let's say, the fruits, in summary. So in essence, it's either you have it as a food or probably you use it for shelter. So the economic value is directly depending on the probably what you use it for. Now, let's go straight to the ones I know, meaning the common economic trees. These are the ones that provide you with the fruits, which you get the value based on probably the business aspect of it, which is the economic analysis we can take, or probably the usage. So I'm thinking that talking about the value of economic trees, it's unquantifiable. You know very well that there are nations that depending on trees. In fact, let me say this. Nigeria is one of the countries that is blessed with various types of trees. So we feel this time around there's need for us to pay attention on the trees. We need trees, not because we want our forest to be thick alone. Yes, the forest can be thick if you provide trees. Instead of providing just trees that you think we just need for the beautification of cities, Why can't we have a tree that has maybe that economic value, that can give you the resources that you can also generate wealth with it? You can also empower the citizens with it. And this is what our attention is focused on. For example, the Give Tree to School project is focusing on the value of these trees, because we want a situation whereby each tree you plant in a school environment or you provide an orchard, let it be seen from the financial value and benefits, not just because children want to play under a tree. So we see a possibility of saying, if we can give Africa or Nigeria 270 million trees, now quantify that in the number of fruits you can actually harvest in each of these trees. Let's assume cashew. After you take the cashew, apart from the juice that you can enjoy from the fruits, you also have the kernel, which you can also get, that's the nuts, which you can also extract or probably export. So we're seeing a possibility of saying the economy should also be looked through providing trees across communities. In fact, if these are forests, are more like, you can compare what comes out from the forest to what you have in some areas or in some sectors, you realize that you have enough things to utilize. That's the point.
Now, you already answered my next question, because I wanted to ask you why, what informed the decision to take this project to schools, to start from the schools. But you also touched on something that pricked me very importantly. 270 million trees looks to me like a tall order. How do you intend to achieve this practically?
Beautiful. I told you the school platform has enough manpower. The secret of planting a very large number of trees is your ability to mobilize. Now, already, for example, let me give you some statistics here. You have over 140,000 schools cut across primary and secondary schools in Nigeria. You can imagine the population. Now, if based on what we decided to do, we now felt the best thing we can do is look at a situation whereby each school, you're going to create a club. And this club would be having at least not less than, let's say, 100 persons as members of the club. And again, you'll be able to see that you can be able to plant not less than 200 trees in an orchard. Now, you can see by the time you multiply this number of trees you're going to plant in each schools, and also we are specific, like I said, economic trees. Now you can imagine the large number of fruits that's going to come out from this. So the idea of using the schools is actually to answer the question that you think, how do we achieve this number? Now this number is actually targeted to African countries. As we speak, we have over 10 countries already on board with this project. They are also like mobilizing or sensitizing the rest of the schools and the teachers. Teachers are to serve as volunteers in this project. If you have at least, let me go back to the Nigerian statistics based on the number of schools we have. If you take at least 3 persons from each school as teachers and make them volunteers, and these volunteers, teachers, are going to be the ones to run the club along with the children. So you're going to have not less than over 400,000 volunteers from all schools in Nigeria. So this is a huge number. I can assure you that within just let's say 24 months, we'll be able to achieve large number of trees planted across the country and even the continent.
Now, back to 270 million trees. Looking at it here, how do we really need this? And let's now look at the economic benefits that it holds for the country. Tell us about that. It's very important.
There is not enough number of trees that the planet requires. That is the obvious fact. Now, you remember, every city you know that exists today, it was a forest. It was part of the assets that we have as nature provided to us. And the quality of life then is different from the quality of life today. Meaning, the human activity is actually instrumental to reducing this number of trees we have. So in essence, what we're saying is that unless we're able to find ways to replace the trees we have destroyed, and also not just by running a system of governance where we're only funding for what we're eating, we should also fund or the legislation, or we should make laws to look into the oxygen that we breathe. So if we are talking about do we need trees, or this large number of trees, not even because of the economic value. Oh yes, the economic value is so huge. From day one, let me go back to the design we have for this project we're talking about too, in our own case. We realized that we should be able to appreciate the fact that from day one that we are launching this project called Give Trees to School, for example, it gives you the opportunity to start looking into you providing another economic opportunity to the teeming youth. How many farms have you realized are providing seedlings? Can you imagine the number of seedlings in a one farm where somebody's job or business or survival depends on the number of trees he sells on a daily basis? So these things put together, it tells you that, wow, if we need 270 million trees across the continent, how many seedlings are we going to sell? How much does a seedlings worth? A single seedlings, as we are, it's worth between, that is economic tree, it's worth between 500 to 1,500 on the average. So you can imagine the volume. So you can see the opportunities for those people that are selling. In fact, it's a lot of it, because these schools we're providing, we intend to provide trees for. They will require source of water. You also require the farm implements. So you can see that the chain is so large and is expanding. And this translates into the economic value of the country and the continent. Now, like I said earlier, if you can provide those numbers of 220, that is 270 trees. If each tree will give you 100 naira, that is 27 billion naira. So we should focus our attention on this. This is just a chunk of tree. If one organization can think of giving such tree to a continent. So I think it's something that we should encourage. The media should also propagate this, so that let's get this kind of effort from different angles. We need more trees, my brother.
Indeed, laudable, looking at your explanation and where we would get to when this is totally or fully actualized. But are you doing this alone? And let's look at sustaining this. How sustainable is this project? Because it's key. Laudable projects like this needs to be sustained.
Thank you. Commendable. I like the fact that you're looking into that. You see, there's something about this nature of a project. Whatever you want to do, you look at the sustainability. In the first place, we want to believe that the structure we're putting across, it's that structure that will help the project to be sustained. Now, for example, the school itself, for the first time, we are reviving the culture which exists earlier, long before now. When I can remember way back, well, I wasn't there, but then I remember in my own case, there was also garden in our schools. But before, our elders had it very well when the whites were the one teaching in all the schools. In fact, fruits were part of the meal that each student enjoyed on daily basis. Now, what does that mean? It means that the school owned the garden. Now, the same thing what we're trying to do to sustain this project, the schools must own the gardens. Now, to own the gardens, we also bring in a structure where PTA are involved in this project. The PTA are going to serve as those that are watching over this particular project, and they are going to mobilize the communities. In the community, there are arrays of stakeholders that are going to play a role in ensuring that this orchard in each of the schools within communities exist and also are being sustained. Let me give you an example. There are those people that can serve as partners. There are those people that can serve as volunteers. There are those people that can also serve as sponsors. And these are industrialists. These are people that businesses around. So with the PTA, we believe that if the PTA also and the school authority value what we call the asset of the schools, the buildings and other structures, now these trees are adding to the values of the school. This is what we're saying. So in essence, it's going to be sustained because the interest of the community, the school authority, and most importantly, the government, be it the Ministry of Education, be it Ministry of Agriculture, be it Ministry of Environment, which is the host this time around, and some other agencies that are also concerned about environment and development projects. And most interestingly, for the first time, we're doing something in Nigeria and Africa. Each single tree we're providing, we're going to capture the coordinates, meaning we're placing it on the map, on the global map. This is also going to add value to probably the land and the topography, whatever you have there. Because to touch that land is like touching a building. To touch that tree is like touching a building. That is what it means.
Now, you talked about volunteers, and you like teachers to be volunteers, that they will be volunteers, and I see that already you have at least 6,000 volunteers across the country. Who are they, and how do you intend to deploy all of them?
The 6,000 volunteers are currently the young Nigerians. Most of them have graduated from schools. Instead of just being idle, we actually designed a volunteering program which they are keen in. We're mentoring them. They're learning so many skills. In fact, I can tell you, I can vouch that if you go into all the local communities, you'll find the Give Free Africa volunteers working, serving their communities as under the service, under what we call Give Free to Communities. Now, they are serving the communities as humanitarians, and this is the objective. You see, we are blessed in this country. We have the large number of teeming youths graduating every year. Now, instead of allowing them to just continue to move around, looking for what to do, the job, like wasting much time in the labor market, we said, no, come, let us work. This is a platform that will prepare you as a humanitarian, meaning as a selfless citizen, that will tomorrow, even if you involve yourself in your own personal business, you have this orientation of being selfless. You care for humanity. You also, if you find yourself in service to serving the government or the public, you will also be selfless. This is what the platform is all about. These are the volunteers we have so far. We have large number, in fact 6,000 counting, and we intend to raise 400 and above, 400,000 and above of these particular volunteers with the structures that exist across the schools. Thank you.
All right, then we'll keep a tab on you, and we'll definitely monitor and see how all of this become practical. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, President and Founder, Give Africa, Mr. Ibrahim Garbawala. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us on Business Nigeria. We appreciate this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward to when TVC will be involved in the projects, and we hope that all the journalists will be part of this. God bless you. Thank you.
Of course,
Thank you.
We'll key into it. It has to do with nature. Thank you so much.